What is going on, everybody, on this beautiful Saturday morning? Rattle Can Man coming at you, aka Buck Wild Bill, aka Paul Stroud. It is time to get started on the Yukon XL. We're going to see what we do. I was talking about, I don't think I'm going to be able to bag it, but I've looked at it and I think I can bag it. I think I can do enough fabrication to make it work on the front, because I've seen some kits and I just kind of looked at them and I'm like, yeah, if I did this with that and this with this, it would be the same as that for way less money. So we're going to see what we can do. I'm definitely going to do the back first, because I know I can do it. Literally take the coil springs out, put the bags in. There's a screw or like a hole on the top, so I'm gonna like flip the bag upside down. I gotta do, well, first I gotta do some research, see if it's okay to flip a bag upside down. I don't know why it wouldn't be, because then you got room on the top. There's a hole in the upper pocket and you can go ahead and screw into your airbag on the top from up there, and then the bottom is a little bit different, so I could put the cup part down on the bottom and maybe like tack weld it in or something to hold it in place, but we'll see. But I'm going to get into that. I know I'm going to have to C-notch the frame. Really not in a big hurry to do that right now. I just want to get the process, whatever, started. So I'm not getting it started by just standing around looking at it. I started to mess with it last night and I'm like, I'm tired. I just don't want to mess with it. I'll be up till 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll sleep all day and this and that. And usually I would be playing golf because it is gorgeous out today. Blue skies, not a cloud in sight. But I want to get started on this thing. So we will be back with some updates. We're going to get her backed in the garage. All right, y'all. I had to do that. Shout out to my boy Brandon Carter over at Lower Class Fab. If y'all are into lowriders, bag trucks, lifted trucks, he does a little bit of everything. He has almost 14,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I reached out to him to ask him some questions, and I was like, this guy's got 14,000 subscribers. He's probably not going to talk to me, but he did, and he added me on Facebook, and I talked to him on Messenger, and that's really cool. He's helped me out with ideas about this Yukon and stuff. Y'all go check them out. They're so fun to watch. You got Brandon, and then you got Dawson, you got Chandler, and then you got Dan the Man, and then you got Chandler. No, not Chandler 2. Brandon number 2. They're fun to watch. Y'all go check them out. Lower Class Fab. I believe it's at Lower Class Fab 431. Y'all check them out. They're down in South Georgia, so I just had to do that. All right, y'all. That's kind of his opening thing. So the last video they did, like everybody, like all the crew said, all right, y'all, all right, y'all, all right, y'all, all right, y'all. And everybody keeps telling him, Brandon, you need to get a shirt made that says all right, y'all on it. That would be awesome. But anyways, here we go. She is backed in the garage. Here we go. Time to get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. We'll be back. Hey. Same video, different clip. So if you're wondering when all this comes together as one video, and you're like, what? Huh? What? It's because my wife is a pretty good video editor. She collects dolls and she makes videos of dolls and stuff, and she's like, the best thing you do is make short clips. That way when you edit it and put it together, it's a lot easier than making long videos and then trying to edit them. So anyways, this next clip, speaking of Brandon Carter at Lower Class Fab, I was just talking about him literally right before this, which was, a couple hours ago, but in seconds as far as this video goes. Anyways, I had asked him about the putting the bag upside down, and he said, no, do not do that. And he explained it to me that all that moving up and down will mess up the airline. I didn't think about it. I'm new to this air ride stuff, so that's why I'm glad I got somebody like him that's been doing it for a long time that, can let me know stuff. And he actually literally took the time out of his day. Not sure what he was doing. I'm sure he was working in the shop as usual, you know, on the weekends. But he took time out of his day to send me 2 little short videos. And these weren't videos that were already made that, you know, he went back and found and sent them to me. He actually made these 2 like 30-second videos just for me, explaining how I needed to do the bags on the Yukon. So super cool of him to do that. But anyways, getting back to the thing, the problem was, I knew this part, but you need your cup to go on that right there. Well, the cups that I have are 4.5 inch diameter, which is not going to work here. That's just way too much play. So what I did is make some little square things that were that diameter to put in there. Right here. I don't guess it really matters. I mean, yeah, if I got pipe, round pipe is same as taking this and making it, because it is gonna fit on there just like that, nice and snug. And then I'm gonna take the plate, this plate right here, and I'm gonna weld it. I've got to do some grinding on it because it's been through heck so far already. But I'm gonna weld that and then put that in there. And oh, my glove got in the way, my bad. I think that'll work just fine. And I really don't need 2 inches. I only need like 1 inch. So instead of making a whole nother one of these, I'm just gonna take my grinding cutting blade and cut this literally right down the middle so it's 1 inch. But what I did, in case this may be a terrible idea, it may not be good to do this, but I'm going to try it because I have looked around and nobody around me, those stores, have steel tubing that I know of, 3 inch diameter steel tubing. And I'm very impatient and I don't want to have to order it and then wait, because as you can see, like I've always said, one of these days I will have an everyday driver and something to work on. That way I don't have to keep messing with it. But this is my everyday driver, so I've got to get the thing put back together so I can drive it. So anyways, what I did is I took this flat bar metal from my work, just scrap metal, and I did the math on it, cut 10 inches on this, and then every 2.5 inches I put a little groove in it. It's not on this one because literally I was going to make another one, but I was like, I don't need it to be that high. I don't need it to be 2 inches. So it's going to be 1 inch. So I'm literally just going to cut the other one. But what I did is I got 10 inches, which comes to the diameter, the inside diameter, once you bend it around and all that. But every 2.5 inches, I cut a groove in this metal, almost all the way through, but not all the way through. And then bend it. Bend them all around and into a square. And then the part that wasn't connected, I welded it together, and then the parts where I bent it, I re-welded them. My welds are getting better. They're still not great, but it's better than when I first started. For some reason, this new welder I got on, you know, anybody that watches my videos, you know, the 2 people that watch my videos, found out that when I was planning my trip to Miami, I had some stuff left to do, and my welder died on me, so I had to go buy a welder. This is basically the exact same welder, except it's a little different. I mean, it's the same brand, same model, everything, but it's got different, I don't know, it's the same, but it's not the same. But anyways, it seems to weld better than the other one. I don't know what it is. It seems to be smoother and all that, but I mean, I'm pretty proud of that. I mean, I'm just starting to weld. It definitely looks better than when I first started. But anyways, back to it, and be right back with the next clip. Hey, coming at you again. My mom is here. She's over there smiling because I told her she was fixing to be on a video. But anyways, I got this done. I think it'll work. It's not pipe, but like I said, I think it's going to work just fine, because it'll sit right there nice and flush on that, and then my bag will go on there. And then the top cup up here, I'll bolt it in.
You're going through the house.
Say hi to my mama.
Hello out there.
Ain't she beautiful? She stopped by.
Oh, yes, I'm just gorgeous. Had to see my baby boy.
Yeah, we'll catch you in the next clip. We're making progress. What's going on, y'all? Next clip, next day. I was out here working on this thing until like 5:30 this morning. And should have got a lot more done, but I did not get as much done as I needed to get done. But the bracket thing I made worked out fine. Got them in there, and then the back was still sitting like way too high for some reason. And I was like, what the heck? The shock wasn't bottomed out because I didn't have it hooked up. Got to looking at everything, make sure nothing was touching, and then I got up in there and looked, and the bags were bottomed out. So I had to take my cups out and cut them in half, the top one and the bottom one. And that dropped it down 2 more inches, but that's still all I can get. The bag's still bottomed out. But I'm not really worried about it because probably not going to try to put it on the frame on the ground anyways. My wife just got home from church. And
she's going to cook some hash brown casserole.
Yeah, she's cooking some yummy hash brown casserole and homemade chicken tenders today, so that's going to be yummy. But anyways, this is what we got done. I got the back, it's sitting on ramps right now, so I can still get under it, but I mean, it's pretty low. Crazy thing is, I was thinking about a C-notch on this, that it was going to be a pain in the butt to do, and I was like, I'm just not even going to do a C-notch. Because I'm probably not going to worry about trying to put this frame on the ground anyways, because there's so much that you have to do. Like I said earlier in the video, Brandon Carter over at Lower Class Fab was telling me that there's a lot you got to do on these things on the back to lay the frame, and it's just beyond my capabilities. So I'm just going to get it as low as I can and be able to move it up and down and be happy with it. But anyways, like I said, I got it all in there, and I had to take it apart and recut my cups because they were too high. I got another 2 inches of drop out of it, but that's it. I mean, the bags are still bottomed out. The only other thing I could do is maybe cut out the... Somebody's out here blowing a duck call. Anyways, I don't know if y'all hear that or not, but we're in the middle of town, and they're blowing a duck call. But anyways, I lost my train of thought. Reboot. Now that the duck call is stopped for now. Anyways, I did the cups, put them in, and the bags were still bottoming out. And it wasn't sitting near as low as I wanted it to be. So I took them out. The top cup was 3 inches, so I was able to cut 1.5 inches off of it to still be above my air fitting. And then the mounts, the things I welded that I showed y'all earlier that I welded on the bottom, I cut them in half. They were like 1 inch, so I put them down to 1/2 inch. So I gave me another 2 inches in the back. But the bags are still bottomed out. And the shocks are not bottomed out. I mean, the shocks are unhooked. And it's literally, that's what it is. The bags are bottomed out. So the only thing I would know is to cut a hole in the top, you know, where your spring goes in or your bag goes in. And then that way it'll go on up more and sit down more. But I really don't want to have to do that. I'm probably just going to just leave it the way it is and just be happy with it being low. And I mean, it's still going to be freaking 2 inches off the ground. I mean, it's going to be pretty low, and just be able to raise it up and down and just go with that. But as you can see, I am decked out in Miami Dolphins gear, going with my favorite logo today. Got this hat, this logo, 91. Cameron Wake, one of my favorite Dolphins players of all time. But anyways, literally, let's see if I can do this. Should have did it the other way. Even my shoes. This is going to be all shaky. But anyways, I'm fixing to get in here and watch the game, or get ready to watch the game. And then hopefully it'll be a good outcome and I can be in a good mood and get back out here and get back on this, because I've still got to put my tank in. I've still got to put my compressors in. I've still got to run my airline. Well, I've got my airlines run on the back. I got to run my power wires. I got to do all of that crap. Like literally, I didn't get none of that done yesterday. All the time I was out here. It just took me a while to do this right here. Oh, this is your bump stop thing. It's pretty thick, but had to cut that one off, and that was fun. Finally got that done, but that gave me plenty of room. But literally, like with it all the way down, I've still got 1.5 to 2 inches between the frame and the axle, but the bags are bottomed out, so we're just gonna go with it, I reckon. We'll see y'all in the next clip. Pins up, game day, baby. Well, this is not the way I wanted to end this video. I wanted to end this video by making the Yukon go up and down. Well, of course, with my luck, that didn't happen. I ended up having to take the bags out and put the coil springs back in just so I could drive to work tonight, or this afternoon, or whatever you want to call it. So what had happened was, I was talking about having to cut some off of the cup because it wasn't going down as low as it could. But then I was worried about the elbow, you know, my fitting where my airline goes in, worried about it being too high up. So I could only take so much off, you know, because I'm sitting there thinking, okay, it's flat, it goes up there, as long as it's down a little bit, it's not going to affect that. Well, I wasn't thinking about the fact that here's your pocket for your coil spring or airbag, whatever, and then there's a little hump that comes down about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. That's about 2 inches around, 2 inches in diameter, something like that. So I said all that to say this. Put it in there. I was like, all right, I got that part done. Hooked up my air tank, my air compressors, all that stuff, and I'm like, all right, it's time for action. Let's go. Filled the tank up with air. I was like, all right. Took my little remote control, pushed the button, and it aired up like a little bit. It was like, shh, and then it was like, psh. I'm like, what the heck, man? What happened? So I crawl up underneath. I'm looking, thinking, did an airline get clipped somehow under there? I know it wasn't heat because I didn't have the truck running. And I made sure this time that I ran airlines nowhere near heat areas, you know. I'm like, what the heck is it? So I'm looking up in there. I'm like, well, maybe it's kind of in a bind and where the airline is hooked up. I looked up in there. Yeah, it was in a bind. But I'm like, okay. Well, time's getting by. And I had to go to Joplin. I'm in Joplin, Missouri right now at the end of this video. Last time I was on the video, the clip, I was talking about, you know, it was Sunday, I was talking about the game and all that. Well, anyways, I'm getting this all out of whack. I meant to do this in a different order, but anyways, we'll do it the way we're going right now. So I was talking about, you know, I was up till 5:30 in the morning, and I got like 2 hours of sleep. Couldn't sleep, figured I'd pass out, but I didn't. So I was up like 3 hours before my alarm went off. I had the alarm set, you know, for the Dolphins game. You know, of course, I'm not going to miss that. So I watched the Dolphins game, and I was talking about, you know, I'll get back out here on this. Hopefully I'll be in a good mood. Well, I wasn't in a good mood. Dolphins got beat by the Carolina Panthers, of all people, so I'm pretty sure my Dolphins are probably the worst team in the NFL. But anyways, I'm sitting there during the game, and I'm just like, starting to get sleepy. So I'm like, okay, when the game's over, I'm gonna lay down, take a nap, you know, just a couple hour nap, then get back out on the Yukon. Well, I ended up waking up about 9 o'clock that night. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to screw it. I'm just stay in bed. So I went back to bed. Got up this morning, Monday morning, started messing with it, and that's when all this stuff happened. I hooked my tank up with compressors, and that happened with, you know, my fittings. So yeah, I let everything down, took the airbags out, trying to figure out what was going on, and I saw that my elbows had literally been cut in half, where the part that's up here comes down and caught on it that I wasn't thinking about, and the pressure just cut it in half on both sides. Oh my gosh. I was like, I've got to go to work. So I just took them out, put them off to the side, put the coil springs back in there. It took me like 15 minutes to put the coil springs back in. It took me 2 days to do all the other crap just to put the coil springs back in. But that's me. That's my luck. We're going to get back on it. I've got an idea. I talked about it earlier in this video. I still got like 1.5 to 2 inches between the frame and the axle. You know, even with them the way it was when I got 2 more inches putting the, you know, cutting the stuff off of the cups. I got 2 more inches, but I still have 1.5 to 2 inches between the frame and the axle. But the bags are bottomed out. So I'm thinking about doing something. I don't know if I'm going to do it. Thinking about cutting a hole in the top of the pocket that the coil spring goes in, that the airbag cup can just slide up in, and then just like maybe tack weld it around. I mean, I'm going to get another 1.5 inches of drop. Is it worth another 1.5 inches of drop? Yes, it is. But I don't know if I'm going to do it. We'll figure it out. But right now, I'm in Joplin. It is 12:10 in the morning, at night, whatever you want to call it, 12:10 Tuesday morning. So I'm going to get off here, get back here in the old sleeper berth and get some sleep, get up, get unloaded, head back home, and kind of try to decide what I'm going to do. But anyways, y'all have a good one. Sorry the video didn't end with the Yukon going up and down. Things happen, especially when you're new to this. But anyways, we'll catch you on the next one. Rattle Can Man out.